Okay, we're back and we're live. Welcome back, you guys, to our daily live feed. We are live both on Instagram and on YouTube. We will be screen sharing on YouTube. So if you're logging on Instagram, go ahead on over to YouTube if you'd like to see the pictures that are going to go along with this. Welcome. As always, we'll give it a couple minutes for everybody to get logged on. And while we're doing that, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. As you're logging on, say hello. Go ahead and put in a comment that helps their algorithms and getting us noticed. So get those comments in there, get those likes in there. And also, while we're waiting, Cuties Conquering the Stage tickets are live. The link is in my bio on Instagram, and it is in the description box on YouTube. Hello, hello. Yay. Say hi. I love that. That's wonderful. Say hello when you log on. Love it. Love it. Love it. Hello, ladies. Welcome. So tonight we're going to wrap up this weekend's shows. We're going to go into the Tsunami Pro actually just a little bit because we do have pictures from that. I didn't preview the Tsunami show because for some reason I missed the pro lists. That was on me. My bad. But we will go through the pictures just a little bit for Tsunami, and then we'll go into the Legion Sports Fest. Yes, you're coming to CCTS. This will be your first year in person, Amanda. And you, let me see if I can highlight that. I think if I hit your, yeah, there you go. Look at that. Love it. And it's first year in person, but you've been virtual for like the last 2 or 3 years, right? So that's pretty cool that you're going to come in person this time. Love it. Now that I figured out how to highlight comments. Yeah, YouTube's where to be for sure. I agree with that. I even go back and I watch my own live feeds, you guys, to make sure that I'm getting better at them. So, like I said, we are going to go into the Tsunami Pro just a little bit, and then we'll go into Legions. I did not watch the live stream for Legions. I tried. I'll be honest, I tried. I tried to buy the live stream for Legion, and it wouldn't let me. It kept saying that there was an error with the page, so I couldn't buy it. The only people that I know of that actually got a chance to watch it had the subscription through Center Podium TV, and then there's no replay inside of it right now. So I unfortunately was not able to watch the actual show, but hopefully at some point we'll see a replay or something like that, so I can go back through and watch the videos because I did not get a chance to do that. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Tsunami Pro, and we'll just go through that real quickly because the pictures weren't that great. Very, very shadowed, so it was hard to see. So I'm just basically going to go through basically the top 3, because once we got past in second place, there was a pretty steep drop off as far as the quality of competitors. And what I mean by that is not that they looked bad, but they just weren't the typical standard of the division, that kind of thing. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'll pull up number 3 here, which was Tatiana. Again, she doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination, but when you look at her, like her presentation, her package, and everything that you got going on here, her suit is very much like the European standard, which again, that's how they are over there, but this is not really what we do here in the States. So Tsunami was in Italy. Where was Tsunami? Was it Italy or France? I think it was France. It was France, right? But anyway, you can see she's quite muscular. She's got kind of this ombre look going on with her suit, that kind of thing. We don't really do that kind of thing here in the States, right? It's a little bit different. She's very, in comparison to what we see in the States, this is a pretty muscular girl when it comes to bikini. So you have to understand when you're looking at some of these European shows, sometimes the criteria is not going to be held very well because they're coming from other federations. They're coming into this federation. So they have to it's kind of a learning curve. And you can see that pretty clearly here. Yeah, here's hoping the Legion video works eventually. I know, right? For real. Again, pretty thick girl here, right? I watched some Scandinavian shows and it was so weird. Yeah, it's because they're coming from a different federation. most of them that are over in Europe. So they just have different criteria and they have different standards. So it's really hard to kind of determine what's going to stand up in the States here when you're seeing these European girls. That's why we see a lot of the European girls come here to the States to compete, because they'll kill it over in Europe and then they'll come here to the States and realize just how much they need to improve or change in order to fit the criteria here in the States. So anyway, so when we're looking at this, like I said, you can see a pretty difference. There's a difference in her shape and her frame in comparison to what we'd see here in the United States. Let's pull up a back shot so you can see her as well. And again, she looks pretty, I mean, she looks pretty balanced and everything like that, but she's definitely muscular in comparison, right? She's definitely very muscular. So here's a back shot. And you can see here, she's very, very muscular. She's got those diamond glutes, you know, all of that in here. And again, the pictures are very shadowed, so it's hard to tell what they really look like. But again, she's got that ombre look that we've got going on with the suit, which you would see in wellness, but not so much a bikini, right? So there's just some things that they need to work on as far as getting the criteria standard the same in Europe. That's why they have the judges over there that they do. They bring the judges in from the States. So you know, when we look at the top two girls have done well in Europe and also have come over to the States and competed over here too. So that's why I want to kind of look at them for this particular show. And that's, is it Steen or Stein? I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced a few different ways, but she has competed here in the States. She qualified for Olympia last year. You can see she's a lot less muscular than the last girl we just looked at, right? She's got a better flow to her frame, that kind of thing. Her posing is still a little bit off. I would really work on her posing if I was her. But overall, not a bad package. And I actually think this is an improvement from what I've seen her do in the past. Let me pull up a front shot so you can see it. She's got quite a few Olympia points right now. She's not qualified, but she does have, I think she's towards the top of the qualification list as far as points are concerned. So I would still like to see her change her posing a little bit. And I'm going to show you a transition pose on her too, where she does a pretty extreme pose. Her posing is still very extreme. She needs to pull the leg in a little bit. She needs to stand up a little bit taller. She's got too much of that arch in her back. She's overdoing it when it comes to her posing, right? She just needs to stand up a little taller. We talked about this with one of the competitors last week, and we're going to talk about that again when we go into Legion because she competed again this week. She just has a little bit too much going on when it comes to her posing. And you'll see what I mean when I bring this next shot up. Hang on just a second. This one. When she goes into her transition pose, I mean, that's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's too much, right? That arch right here, that pop-up in her glute is just way too exaggerated. Like, we always talked about this with bikini. Bikini's down the middle. We don't want anything to be too extreme on any end, right? And this is an extreme pose. She just needs to stand up a little taller and not bend quite so much and arch quite so much in the back, because that's just creating this really extreme cartoonish look, which becomes too much for bikini, right? So a lot of this is just her posing. Let me pull up a back shot. You know, same thing here. Again, just arching too much. She's just arching too much in her back. You can see how strained she is through her upper body, right? You can see how she's pushing those elbows as much as she is. This is a big arch in this lower back. She really just needs to calm her posing down. If she can calm her posing down, her physique would look 10 times better, right? Her physique would look 10 times better if she just underdid some of her poses, right? But you can see as far as muscularity wise, she is less muscular than the last girl that I just showed you, which is closer to the bikini criteria. Because she has competed here in the States before. So again, she's relatively well versed in what the criteria should be. She just has some adjustments she still needs to make. And then the winner of this show was Francesca Stocchio. So Francesca's been outside of the top 5, or outside of the money spot. She's been in the bottom of the top 5 or bottom of the first call out all year, but she finally got into that winner's circle. And I do think this is a better package on her too. She has a tendency to come in too hard. She has a very, she's another one with an extreme structure, meaning her back and her shoulders way overpower her lower body sometimes. So she's done a good job of adjusting that. And I've noticed that throughout this year. Throughout this year, I can see that she's working towards adjusting that frame and making it more balanced. And right here, I do think she's pretty well balanced. And she is pretty full. She's still got a little bit of graininess going on in the legs. You can see that here. Once you create that muscle maturity there, it's hard to fill it back out. But I still do think this is an improved package. I do still think that this is better. And I think she's going in the right direction. She's getting a little fuller, a little rounder, and more balanced with her physique. Where she tends to fall off, where she tends to have a problem standing up to some of the top bikini pros is in her back pose. Her front pose is ridiculous as far as her structure is concerned. But in her back pose, she has a tendency to be a little bit lacking in the fullness of her glutes. Again, she tends to be a little bit too hard from the back. This is still, in my opinion, a little bit too hard, but this is a lot fuller than what she's had in the past. A lot fuller than what she's had in the past. She does have a bit of an imbalance in her glutes, and you can see that here where this glute is bigger than this one. And this is why I tell you guys all the time to pose on both sides, because what happens is you start getting impingements, and that affects how your muscle development actually occurs. If you look, this is the side that she poses on in her front pose. So she's got an impingement in that lower back right here. You can even see it through her upper back here. She's got this crunchedness over here, because this is her front side, her front pose. So that's why her glute here is smaller than her glute here. Okay. So this is why I tell you guys, if you work with me, this is why I harp on you all the time about posing on both sides. This right here is why, so that you stay balanced, because you can create these imbalances from behind. You don't even realize you're doing it until it's too late. But like I said, this is a much better look on her than what she's been bringing. She is balancing out herself out a little bit more. She is filling out her glutes a little bit more. So this is good. She's going in the right direction. And yeah, she definitely deserved this win, 100% deserved this win at the show. And I'll be interested to see what she does between now and the Olympia. So kudos to her. I did want to actually bring that up and go through that slightly because we had pictures. Finally, sometimes these European shows, we don't have pictures. So it's hard to go through all that stuff. So we're going to go to Legion next. And again, like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the live stream. I did try to buy it. I tried to buy the live stream. I tried to buy the pro day on Sunday, and it just kept giving me an error page when I tried to buy it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I haven't been able to go back. There's no replay available, so I haven't been able to go back and watch it. So we're going to go through wellness, and we're going to go from 5th place up. 5th place is Maria Paulette Aranadrian. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I don't know. But I'm going to pull up her photos here. Let me get a good front shot here. That's pretty good. I believe she's competed a few times before, and she's one, I think, that I've commented on her posing before. She's a shorter girl on the shorter side. She's really well balanced as far as her wellness physique. Like, she's got a great shape right here. I would just say probably conditioning wise, she's not quite where she needs to be in the front. Let me pull up a back shot and take a look, because honestly, I haven't even looked at her photos. I glanced at them briefly, but I didn't really look through them. So let me see what we got from the back here. I think, if I remember correctly, she was the one that had funky posing. I think she's kind of fixed it a little bit since then, but let me find it. Let me find her back shot. There's a lot of pictures from this show, you guys. I'm on page 5 of photos right now, and I haven't gotten to a back shot yet. Okay, here's the back shot. Yes. Okay, so this girl, and I think she's, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's taken like 3rd and 4th place a couple of times, that kind of thing. She's the one where her back pose was too wide, and she didn't have the toes out, that kind of thing. She didn't have it quite right. This is a better back pose. But to me, this just looks like she needs a little bit of a better flow from the back. It just looks a little bit like mass from the back. It doesn't have a great flow to it. I think her conditioning is fine from the back. I think her conditioning is totally fine from the back. But I just think she needs to work on the flow of her physique a little bit. I just think we're just looking a little bit, and I don't know if the word blocky is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but she just needs a flow. She needs to work on the flow. I'm going to look at one of her quarter turns here and see if this makes any difference. Yeah, it's a lot of it's her posing. So this is one of her shots that she has for a quarter turn shot. And she's just, she's blocky through that waistline. So she's just really like thick in places where you want to V it in a little bit more. So she just needs to adjust some of these poses a little bit and needs to work on the flow of her physique. She has a good shape. And again, I think her conditioning is fine now that I'm looking at her in other poses and things like that. It's just the flow is off. The flow of the actual upper, lower, midsection, all that is just a little off. Also, I'm not a huge fan of these big heels. Like that's a little much. I think she's short, but at the same time, this doesn't help. it just becomes distracting when you got these big stripper heels on like that. So just my 2 cents. Not a fan of that. Flow. That's what I work on with her. Flow. Let's see what we got next. There's a lot of divisions in this show, a lot of masters divisions and all that too. So, okay. So Frida was 4th. The critique for Frida is always going to be the same as she starts to build into this division, is that she just needs to add some more size. I mean, overall, again, she's got really good flow to her physique. She just needs more size. Let me find a good, this is a quarter turn shot, so we'll pull this up. Here we go. I like the blue on her. I think that the red was better. I don't mind the blue, but I think the red was just more her. But again, we just need some thickness in these quads right here. When we're looking at comparison shots with her and the other girls, she looks a lot thinner than the other girls just because of her legs. We've talked about this before. From the back, she looks fantastic. It's just when we get to these side quarter turns and things like that is where she lacks in the quad development. She just needs to keep doing that. I mean, she's gotten so much better, but it's just one of those things where she's going to have to keep going. Just have to keep pushing, adding some more quad development, adding more size. And she is a taller side, so that makes it more difficult. Trust me, I know when it comes to creating that development. Let me see. Let me find again, there's 1,000 shots in here, these girls. So I'm trying to find a back shot. I'm on page 8 and still haven't gotten to a back shot yet. Here we go. Okay. I think is she fully posed? Her hair's still moving. So let me try and get a fully posed shot. There's a ton of photos here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so from the back, again, she looks fantastic. I mean, she's got great balance between her glutes and her quads here. We've got that nice quad sweep on the outside here. You know, she's definitely not bikini anymore. Not at all. It's just when we get to those quarter turns that she needs to add some thickness. She adds to add some thickness. Like her fullness in her glutes is really, like the fullness of her muscle bellies in general is really, really good. It's really beautiful fullness. And I really like that. I think it's just a healthy round look. And I really like that a lot. She just needs some more size in those quads and those quarter turns. That's about it. That's just going to take some time development. Let's go to Letitia. So we mentioned Letitia could be a potential at this show. She had placed top 5 previously. So let me find a good front shot here. I was going to ask for clarity on what you meant by flow, but comparing the last 2 in wellness made it clear. Yes, correct. That was a good example. Actually, I'm going to highlight your comment. There you go. That was a good example of the difference between the 2 that had good flow and needed flow, right? Fifth place needed flow. 4th place has a good flow to her physique, right? So let's pull up Letitia. Okay, so this is another one where she can work on some flow here too. She's got a thicker waist. In almost all of her poses, she looks like she's kind of bending into them a little. I'm trying to see if I can find one where she doesn't look like she's bending, but I think all of them look like that. So again, it's like that concept of, okay, we got to work on some posing tweaks. Right here, this is her front pose. And this is not her in between a pose. This is her actually posed, So what I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see her straighten this leg out and then pull this knee out a little bit and pop those quads a little bit more. And that would also pop the glute here. And it would also make her waistline look smaller. It's almost like she's sitting into this pose a little, and she should be kind of standing up a little taller through that back leg. It all hinges off this back leg right here. If she could pull up a little taller right there and adjust the rest of this pose, it would show her shape a lot better. She is short-waisted and she is thicker in the waist, so she needs to work on those things in order to make this look smaller, right? Posing is so, so critical in all divisions, but really in wellness, because you can tell a big difference between the girls that know how to pose their frame and those that don't. And that's really going to be her, like, that's where I would really focus some energy right there. It's not been too much in wellness posing. Right. Yeah. So Jennifer just showed me her before posing today from a couple, like a year and a half ago or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that right now. Oh goodness. Okay. So this is her from the back. Let's see. I think this is a fully posed one. Let me see if maybe there's a better fully posed back pose. Hang on. Here we go. So again, looking at this, she's just bending too much, you know? She needs to come up tall and not bend through the knees quite so much. You know, I feel like she's probably doing this to try to show her hamstring tie-ins a little bit better and things like that. But in the process, it just looks awkward. My first pictures were horrible. Everybody's are. Don't worry. The before pictures on everyone are bad. It's okay. How do you see what you're critiquing? I'm on YouTube. So I'm screen sharing on YouTube. So we're live on both Instagram and on YouTube. If you're on our YouTube channel, then you're seeing the screen share. So you can see here, she is just bent too much, really. She's just bent too much. A lot of this with her is just posing. Again, if you notice, the last couple of people I've mentioned the issues are posing. Posing. Let me say it again, posing. Makes such a huge difference, you guys. It really does. It makes a really big difference when you're posed correctly and when you're not. Let me see. Get a quarter turn for her. Yeah, and same thing here. She's squatting into this quarter turn when she should be standing up taller. A lot of this would be, a lot of her issues could be amended and look a lot better if she would just straighten out her legs. Straighten out. So that would make a big, big difference in her overall flow here. You can see her waistline's not that thick right here because she's almost in the right position, but she just needs to straighten up a little. So that's my general critique there. Fix that posing. Let's see. And we'll go to, where's wellness again? Did I miss it? Judy Ann Winston. So this is another one that we mentioned could potentially be in a top spot because, again, she was a top fiver, I believe, in Texas. Let me find a good front pose for her. Here's a good front pose. So here's one where you could see that she actually is standing up taller, right? She is standing up taller here. This is what I'm talking about. Like if you stand up and you straighten that leg out, guess what happens? Your quad pops, right? When you straighten that knee out, that flexes and amplifies this quad sweep. That's what makes you look like a wellness competitor. Everybody thinks when you sink in and you bend those knees and all that kind of stuff, it pops everything. It doesn't. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't do that. 9 times out of 10, standing up is actually going to make you look a whole lot more wellness because it's going to make those quads look a little rounder, right? So that's what's happening here. This is a much better front pose here than what some of the other girls were showing earlier. Let's see. Again, there's like 1,000 photos in here. So let me find a good back shot. I'm just looking through her. I'll go ahead and share this while I'm kind of scrolling through too, so you can see it. I'm just looking through her photos that they have on here. You can see she just displayed her frame a lot better. Let's see. Every one of these is better as far as her poses are concerned. but there's a, you can do a flip book and have a video of her routine here. So let's see. Okay, here's a good back shot. Okay, so good back shot. Just need some more size in the back. I would say some more glutes and some more quad. I mean, just in general, just needs some more size in her lower body. Overall, this is good though. Overall, her pose is good. Overall, her shape is good. Overall, what she's doing here, again, is a lot more polished looking than what we've talked about with some of the other girls earlier. She just, again, is one of these ones who's going to need a little bit more size. When she creates a little bit more size on the outside of her glute here and pops up a little bit more, it's going to make her waistline look a little bit thinner. Going to give her a better lower body balance to her upper body for wellness, right? But this is a good package. This is a really good package. And she just needs to keep adding size. If you couldn't tell, that's been my critique. It's either been posing or size for these girls so far this week. So let's take a look at what we got for our winner. And I did predict that we would see Amanda Burnett in the winner's circle, and she did win it. So let's get her up here. All right, let's find a good front pose. And I feel like she's come a long way with her posing and presentation aspect of it. That was one of the things that she needed to work on from her first pro show this year. She just turned pro recently. But as you can see, she's got a really good balance with her front pose here. So what I was talking about, again, what I was talking about with the last few girls, straightening out that back leg. She did that here, right? What that does is that pops all this up, makes that cut into her lower back, makes her glutes pop up, really gives her that wellness shape through this front quad. This is a good front pose, right? This is where a lot of these girls could improve, is through the front poses and just displaying their shape better, right? A lot of them have really good shape. They're just not displaying it right. This is good. This is good. Now you guys know me. I don't like the pie plates, but that's okay. This is a good, it's a pretty suit color. I like the blue on her. I just like to see a regular suit top. Let's see what we got here. Get to a back shot of her. And this one looks like she's good. Yep. So one of the things I've critiqued her on before is that she needs more glutes, and I would say that's the case here too. She's got really good quads, legs, everything in here. I just like for Olympia, I'd like to see her add a little bit more glute pop here. This is probably the best that her back shot has looked. I just like to see more glutes in general. In general, I think that her legs are the right size. I think she just needs to get a little bit more glute from the back. But this is a very good back pose. Again, she's not super bent into it. Her knees are just slightly soft. They're twisted out so you can see the outside of her quad sweep. And it's conditioned, but she's not overly conditioned either. I actually think this is really good conditioning right here. That's been one of the things I've mentioned in some of these shows previously, where the winners have been getting really, really super diced conditioning. I don't see that here. I think she's nice and full. I think her conditioning is right on point right here. Let's see if we got a quarter turn. We'll pull a quarter turn up for her. If she's got one. I don't know if she has one or not. There's 1,000 pictures in here, so maybe we got a quarter turn in here somewhere. Or maybe not. She's showing her best. Her front pose and her back pose are definitely her strongest shots, so it makes sense that you're going to see a lot of that. Yeah, I'm not even seeing not seeing a quarter turn here. Nope, didn't. She just walked off. Hey, I've mentioned this before. If it's not one of your strong poses, don't do it. So she just did her front pose and her back pose and all of these. I don't see a quarter turn anywhere. Well, it's like a halfway quarter turn right here, but she's not really posed. It's just a transition. Let's see. Yeah, she just transitions through her quarter turn. She's not really hitting any of them. Which again, as you guys know, if it's not a strong pose, don't hit it, right? She's just transitioning through them, which I think is smart, because in her quarter turn, she does look thick through her waistline. I think she looks better in her front pose for her waistline. So I think that was a smart move on her part as far as the pose she decided to put on stage. So good job on that too. So again, to me, she was clearly the winner. So that was, you know, she did what, this is her third pro show, I think, and now she's Olympia qualified. So congratulations to Amanda. Let's go to bikini. Okay. So bikini, we saw quite a few things happen. We saw, like I mentioned before, I said this particular show was going to show who from last week was going to translate over into first call out here. Because last week we had what, 6 bikini pro shows or 5 bikini pro shows or whatever it was. So we had a bunch of brand new girls up in the top call outs. So we were going to see who was going to transition over into this show and actually get into the top call outs here. So if you notice on this list, we see Alice and Victoria ended up dropping down. They were both first call out girls. I think Victoria was still in first call out, but she didn't end up in the top 5. But they both dropped down outside of the top 5 when they were in the top 5 last week. So still, this is not a bad placing by any stretch of the imagination, but we just see where the girls from last week are showing up this week, right? So let's go to 5th place, which was Kaylin Long. This is the one that we mentioned last week. Really great shape, but just needs some more size on her upper body. Her lower body looks great, but she needs some more muscle up top. And I actually think that this show was better. I think she looked better at this show than she did last week. That's a really, really good bikini front pose. I just think she needs some more muscle density overall. I don't think she actually needs more size as far as like outward, upward, anything like that. She just needs some more thickness. It's kind of the same thing that I have to do too. Like, I think her shape is great. She just needs some density. So if she gets some more density in there, then these shoulders are just going to pop a little bit more. All of this is going to just look a little bit thicker, a little bit more mature. And same thing in her legs. Like, I think her shape is great. I don't think I would change much about this front pose. I don't think I would change much about her shape. I just like to see her get a little denser, a little bit thicker, a little bit more muscle maturity here. But this is a really, really pretty shape. I like this shape a lot. And I do think this is actually better than last week. Let's see. Let me go to a back pose for her. Back pose is where she really shined last week. And I would agree here this week as well. But I would also say that her front pose was better this week. Let me get a good, she's still moving in that one. Let me get one where she's not moving. There we go. Okay, so good back shot here. Nice fullness, nice roundness. She's full and round and conditioned well through here. But again, in order for her conditioning to get better, it's not about her getting leaner. It's about her getting denser. I've talked about this with myself. My conditioning from this past year needed to improve, but it wasn't about me getting leaner. It's about me adding more density to my muscle in order to get that to really pop. That's what she needs right here. When she has another layer of thickness, another layer of density to her muscle, she's going to look really, really good. That's just going to take some time. But this is, this is a great shape. She just needs to thicken it up a little bit. That's all. Go eat some food. Let's see. That was Kaylin. So we're going to go to Alessia next. I'm hoping that after this show that Alessia is going to take a little bit of a break. Her body needs it. You can see just looking at her, she needs a bit of a break. Let me pull up a front pose for her. She's just looking thin, and that's just from competing back to back. I want to say this might be her 5th show in a row, something like that. And this is kind of typical of what Alessia does. She competes a lot. But what you can see here is her shoulders just looking really washed out. She's looking really caved in through this rib cage here. Her glute pop isn't quite there, that kind of thing. That's all signs of her body being tired. So I'm hoping that after this show that she's going to take a break. She is Olympia qualified. She doesn't need to compete anymore. She just needs to give her body a time to rest for a minute. Get off the stage for a few weeks. You know what I mean? Give herself a chance to relax. And I'm going to say it again. Somebody, before I get to it, somebody tell me what I'm going to talk about with her back pose. Somebody, anybody comment it, because I'm pulling up the back pose. It's coming. It's coming. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? I know y'all are going to get it. All right. What am I going to say about this back pose, you guys? You got a minute. You got a second. I'll give you a minute before I say anything. I know the comments are a little delayed sometimes. All right. Suit bottoms. Yes, thank you. Highlighting your comments. There you go. That suit bottom, you guys. Oh my goodness. This suit cut. Oof. Look at that. You can see it right here. You can see her tailbone up the top. Right there. Get that covered. Round that out. Oh my goodness. Round that out. Round that out. Round that out. Yep, bikini cut. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. Yep. We got the bikini cut, all of that, the square look. Yep. I'm showing everybody's let's see if I can, what did I just do? Bikini cut. Here you go. Yep. It's that suit bottom, you guys. It's that suit bottom. We got to get that suit bottom. And when I bring up Lana did this suit cut and then she changed it. And you're going to see the difference when I bring up Lana, because Lana's in second place at this show. You're going to see the difference in what a little bit of suit coverage can do for you. Little bit, just a little bit. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say here. You know, she's already got those kind of squared off glutes. This doesn't help. So that'll help round her out if she just adds a little bit more on that back cut right there. All right. So, but you guys all know, those of you that have been here, you know, that's my biggest critique right there, is that suit cut. Okay, let's pull up that. So again, I think that Alessia just needs to take some time and rest until Olympia. That's what I would say. Let's look at Liliana. So I'm not familiar with this girl. I don't know if I feel like I might have seen her before, but I'm not super familiar with her. So I think this is one that is similar to what I was talking about with the wellness girls, where she needs a little bit more flow. Like, I think she looks really good, don't get me wrong, but there's just something off and I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it might be her posing, where she needs to tilt back a little bit more on this lower back. I feel like she's pushed forward a little bit. She has a bit of a thicker waistline. She's built, like, when I look at her waistline, it looks like mine. It's a little bit thicker through the waist. So she needs to open up a little bit more. She needs a little bit more shoulder, and she needs to push back a little bit more in this lower, in this hip right here, in order to really make that waistline V in. I think that's what's missing here. I could be wrong, but just looking at her, I think that it's just a little bit of this posing adjustment that needs to happen. And I would also say she needs some more fullness to her shoulders. She's got a great V into her back. So I just like to see the shoulders match that V, right? I like to see that match right there. So really pretty girl in the face. I like this whole girl next door look with her. But I just like to see that posing tweak a little bit. And I'd like to see more shoulders here. I think that would be beneficial to her frame. And then where I see a little bit of the back pose is same thing here. So there's just something a little bit off about this back pose. And I think it's her toes. I think she needs to go, I think to like take her toes out a little bit or something. I'm not quite sure what it is back here, because again, from the back, she looks like she has a little bit more of a thicker waistline here. So in order to really get that to pop, I'd like to see maybe the heels come out like I don't know, like a half an inch or something like that. Toes come out a little bit. Just like to play with this a little bit, and just see if we can get that to flex. What did I pin? Did I pin something here? What did I do? Oh, somehow I pinned your thing. I don't know how I did that. Oh, sorry, I had a little like little star thing there. I don't know what I did. Anyway, I'm hitting buttons. This is live, you guys. This is live. So anyway, but yeah, there's just something a little bit off on this back pose. Again, I think it has to do with her foot position, but I'd have to like work with her like specifically to figure out if that's what it is. Because her glutes look great, but I just feel like there's just a little bit something there. And it would just be a matter of kind of moving her around a little bit to figure out where she's displayed the best. She's definitely conditioned enough, 100% conditioned enough, but we're just missing something there. And again, I think some of it has to do with where she's got her lower back. I think she needs to push back versus I think she might be pushed a little forward here. If she pushes back a little bit, I think that would pop everything up a little bit more and give her some more fullness there. I just feel like we're missing something here. I think her lower back needs to push back a little, something like that. But again, nice and full and round, really pretty look. Just needs a few little tweaks, a few little minor tweaks in order to get her physique to show best. Let's look at our next one, which is Lana. So Lana took second here, went back to the red, like I mentioned. She should go back to the red. Just saying. I know it's not all me, but I'm just saying, like, that red makes a big difference. I like the red on her a whole lot better than the green. I think this is her look. Once you've got a look that's yours, you should just stick with it, and this works, right? She's definitely fuller than she was at Ben Weider, so that's good. I would say she still needs some more size. She needs some more size in the upper body right here, that shoulder cap. Needs some more size in that pop on the glutes right here. But overall, this is a very good look for her, and I do think it's improved from Ben Weider. This hand, I'd like to see it come down. I'm never a huge fan of the hand going above that belly button there. It just ends up looking really rigid. So when you bring it down a little bit, it helps to, it's going to help to balance her physique a little too, because if she brings the hand down to here, then our eye is going to go directly into the small part of her waist, versus now it's just our eye goes direct to right above the small part of her waist. So it needs to come down just a touch to bring it in. But again, overall, much better look with the red and all of that too. Let's find a back pose. Let's see. There's 1,000 photos here, so let me find a good back shot. Here we go. Okay, so I would say from the back, she's full, but she's not quite tight enough through those hamstrings, and we need some more pop on the outer glute. However, you guys see what I'm talking about right here with this soup cut? See that? Now, there was a couple shows earlier this year where she wore that teeny tiny little soup cut, and it just made her glutes lose all their fullness, all their roundness. This little extra material right here rounds her out, right? Really helps her right here. So, this has been my critique of her throughout the year, is that I'd just like to see a little bit more pop on the outer glute. But you can tell just by looking at this, she is full through the glutes. She needs some more pop on the outer glute. She needs some more hamstring. Overall, again, better package than what she had last week at Ben Weider, but she just needs to add some more size. There we go. Let's go to winner, who, from what I've heard from everyone that was there, it was like the second she walked on stage, she won the show, which was Jordan. Lana did a little less in her routine too, and it was quite enjoyable. Oh, good to hear. Again, I wish I could have seen it. I wish I could have watched it. So again, and I didn't get a chance to watch this, but from what people have said, and from what I saw at the UK Arnold, Jordan's presence on stage just takes over the stage. She did win with a perfect score. I don't think you can get much better than her front and back pose. I honestly think that she's going to definitely be top 10 this year at the Olympia, could potentially be in the hunt for a top 5. I just feel like this is like perfect bikini conditioning. She's full, she's round, she's tight. She's not over conditioned in any place. She's really well balanced from top to bottom. This is a really well balanced pose. And again, her stage presence is just next level when it comes to her walking on stage. You can't not look at her. I just think this is a really great package. I don't see anything that I would change. There's nothing here I would change on this. You know what I mean? So this is what we talk about when we're talking about everything being complementary of each other. There's not one thing on her that sticks out at me and says, oh, this is the amazing part. No, it's the whole package. She's not too much anywhere. You know what I mean? She's balanced from top to bottom. Again, I always go back to that conditioning aspect too. I think this is perfect bikini conditioning right here. It's not over the line anywhere. Even when we turn her to the back, she was on here when we did the critiques from the UK Arnold, and they told her she needed to be 1% tighter. And from what I can see from the photos, it looks like she got there. Looks like she got that 1% that she needed. So let me get a good back shot. Again, there's 1,000 photos here. I think there's one there where she's posed. Yep, there's one where she's posed. Yeah, Jourdan is a stunner, no question. Love some Jourdan. There you go. So see, there's not a whole lot to change on this back pose. You know what I mean? Like, her glutes are nice and round and full. And again, she's not overly conditioned, but she is tight enough. You know what I mean? This is what we're talking about. Like when I, again, when I look at somebody like this is right down the middle. This is what I see when I look at a Jen Dory, right down the middle on everything. She's not overboard on anything. She's got great balance from top to bottom. I mean, you can't really say anything other than that. You know what I mean? Like this is really good bikini shape and conditioning. Let me see if there's any other ones. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe just relax the lats a little bit. You can see she got pinched up a little. That's about all I can say. Like her pose itself is pretty much spot on. Like, and the only reason why I'm even saying that about the lats is because her hair is shorter, which I think she does well with that because we need to see her delts anyway. But yeah, I mean, this is a really, really good pose. She's really well balanced. You can see her heels are right underneath her shoulders, which is what you want. That's the balance part of it right there. And again, that conditioning. I just always look at the conditioning. Her conditioning is right there, right where it needs to be. Again, not overboard, not too conditioned, not too hard. She doesn't have those diamond drops here, but she's tight all the way through. So you guys see the difference when I'm talking about the diamonds. Like we saw the diamond drops in the girl that took third. What was her name? Somebody help me out with third place. And then we didn't see enough tightness in Lana. And then right here is right down the middle, right? This is right down the middle on that conditioning. I wonder if I can, I don't know. I didn't even look at the comparison shots. I don't know what they look like on this particular show. Let me see if they got any good comparison shots. Oops. Oh, they're pretty far away. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this shows it pretty well, actually. Let me show this comparison shot right here for you guys. So you can see here, Jourdan in the middle, Lana, is it Liliana? Liliana, is that her name right here that took third? See the difference in the conditioning in their hamstring drops right here. So again, Jourdan has that fullness all the way through the hamstring. Lana's a little soft. She doesn't have that quite tied in there. And then I think it's Liliana. Is that right? I know I'm saying her name wrong. I'm sorry. Let me pull it up and get it right. Hang on. I feel bad when I say people's names wrong. Hang on. Yeah, Liliana. Okay. And you can see Liliana is a little bit tighter through that hamstring drop. So you see what I'm talking about? Like this, as far as that conditioning is concerned. Say yes or no if you can see that. I want to make sure that what I'm saying makes sense, right? So tell me if you can see what I'm talking about here. And by looking at this comparison shot too, you can see that Jourdan's glutes are the fullest. Lana's are pretty full here too. She's got some nice pop there. We got some nice pop over here. This is good, but it's a little dry, a little hard. She's just a little hard, right? And then some nice fullness here, but lacks that density. So if you guys get a chance to go look through these photos, you can see pretty clearly all the things that we were talking about. So, I mean, this is what we're looking for right here, right? So all the things I've mentioned about the girls individually, when you go back and you look at the comparisons, you can see compared to each other where those make a difference, right? So yeah, I think this was obviously the right call. And I do like the fact that they went with Lana in second versus Liliana, because Lana was a little bit soft. Liliana was a little bit hard, and they went with Lana instead. So I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. So, and again, it's the three bears, right? Jourdan was right down the middle. Jourdan was right down the middle. That's where you want to be. Bikini is about being down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, down the middle. Okay. Whenever you're questioning it, it's down the middle. which is always really hard to judge unless somebody shows up looking like that. You want somebody to show up looking like they're down the middle, and then it's real easy to judge that, right? But if they don't, then you got to go one way or the other. You got to go one way or the other if nobody shows up down the middle, right? Any questions, you guys? Any questions on this? Any questions on any of the results this weekend? I think right across the board, everything was called correctly. I would have called it the same way, honestly. So I was really happy to see that. And I think we have qualifications, I think, go through is it through the 19th of November, 20th of November, something like that? What is the qualifications to go through? Yeah, it ends on the 20th, which means the 19th of November is the last weekend to qualify for this year's Olympia. So it's about another month of qualifications. Any questions, you guys? So what we'll do tomorrow is we'll do another teaching live. I've got something planned, but I have to get all the data put together in order to do it. So I've got something planned for tomorrow night. And then we'll do a preview of this weekend's coming shows on Thursday, just like we always do. And then we're off to the races this coming weekend. So hope you guys all had a great weekend, and that you're getting into your wherever you are in your prep cycle, whether you're in prep or you're going into off season. Most people I know are going in off season or are in off season right now. That tends to happen as we go in through till January. So stay on it. Off season is where all the improvements are made. So that's when you got to work the hardest, right? If you haven't done so already, Cuties Conquering the Stage tickets are available. Yes, SWS is this coming weekend. Cuties Conquering the Stage tickets are available up until the 25th is when early bird ends. So after early bird, our ticket prices go up to full price. This is when you can get them discounted. Okay. So it's either over on the 25th or when we sell out. So I know we have a few left. I'm not sure exactly the number, but we sold a few over the weekend. So make sure that you're getting in on that if that's something that you want to do. We are getting some of the coolest swag in this year. I can't wait for you guys to see what I'm designing this year. I am going the extra mile on the designs. Let me just say, you'll get previews. I'll show some things, but it's like next level in comparison to what we've done in the past. Y'all are going to be loving this stuff. I'm just saying. I'm really excited about it. So this part of the year is my favorite part of the year because I get to get creative and design things. So that's what I'm doing right now. But yes, we do have an SWS this coming weekend. So if you're around, thank you so much for the information. You're welcome. Glad it was helpful. If you're around Northern Virginia, you got to come to SWS this weekend, which is our group posing. You need to get into group posing. If you haven't noticed this evening, a lot of the critiques that I've given to the girls in these shows have been about posing. Posing makes a difference, you guys. Posing makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And it's totally different posing by yourself versus when you're posing with and around other people. So if you're not local, get into some group classes wherever you are. If you are local, I do them twice a month. So come check us out. Right? I think that's everything. We've got a few shows coming up. I think our next show is the Baltimore Pro Show at the end of the month. And then we've got the Virginia Classic, whatever it is, the following week, 2 weeks from there, and then that kind of thing. But we're coming up to the end of the year pretty quickly here. So we'll be back on tomorrow night, 8:15. And between now and then, make yourself some decisions on coming to Cuties. And we'll see you at 8:15 tomorrow night for another teaching live. And I'll tell you more about that tomorrow once I got all my data together. All right. Have a great night, you guys. And suitsandposing.com if you want to